And welcome back to The Watchman, only right here on TBN. We are in Sderot, Israel, folks, telling you the situation in this great town just a mile from the Gaza border where Hamas lives and breathes. And we're joined by our friend, Noam Badin of the Sderot Media Center. Now, Noam, there's a huge human impact to these thousands and thousands of rockets and missiles that have barraged Sderot over the past several years. Very important human impact and an impact on children here in Sderot that our audience needs to know about. We're in a playground now, but this just isn't any old playground. Tell us about where we're standing right now.
Okay, so as you can see right now, this is a protected sheltered caterpillar that was built for children. So for children to feel more safe when they're playing around the playground itself, they have a creative bomb shelter for them to actually feel more safe and more friendly oriented for children running for their lives, being under rocket fire. Yeah. What's amazing, at the entrance of the caterpillars, you would have actually signs saying that if you have a siren going off, you go into the shelter over the orange line and then you're protected. And it's interesting, actually, people always ask, how come there are no doors to the bomb shelter? It's because when children come out here, having 15 seconds to run for your life, you do not want to be struggling with that door to run into the bomb shelter itself. What other country in the world has a bomb shelter in a playground in the same photograph? While at the same time, right behind there, off in the distance, cranes are being built up. People are choosing to move into this reality. So you have this very unique experience right over here that people are choosing to maintaining their daily routine life, worshiping life as much as they can. And that's part of the most very powerful story of Sderot today, representing a very unique kind of situation, a unique reality where civilians have been targeted, and we're trying anywhere as possible to maintain a daily routine life as much as we can.
Noam, that is such an important point for our viewers. I'm so glad you brought it up because, yes, Sderot is under threat. We know that. You've laid it out very eloquently. But life goes on here, and people here continue to thrive, the resiliency. Talk a little bit more about the resiliency of the people of Sderot. You see an example here, I think, with the caterpillars. Okay, you want to fire bombs at us? We will just fortify our playgrounds. We're not leaving our kindergartens. Talk more about that. Talk about some of the development, some of the new immigration into this city. Talk about some of the encouraging things that are going on here.
I mean, you know, for me doing this for many years, half of my adult life, I've been chasing rockets and dealing with this rocket reality and the people living out here as well. And I came to realize how this story of Sderot representing the microcosm of the entire Israeli society. I came to realize who actually lives in this town, which is part of the story of Israel, you know, the miracle of Israel as well. Who lives here? You had the Jews at the beginning that moved out to this town, came from North Africa, like countries like Morocco, Tunisia, Libya, Algeria, Egypt, Iraq, Iran, moving out to this region. In the past 35 years, Jews coming from former Soviet Union countries, from Ethiopia, the Ethiopian Jews. Since 2006, we have Jewish communities coming out from Northeast India, Myanmar, Peru. We call them the Lost Tribes. Down over here, we have over 50 Muslim Arab families living here in Sderot.
In Sderot?
In Sderot. They're called collaborators in Gaza. They gave information to Israel. It was too dangerous for them to keep on living in Gaza. So they were resettled here in Sderot for over the past 15, 20 years.
So the Israelis, the Jewish people, gave these Arab Muslim families safe haven right here in Israel.
They're in the schools, so they go to the marketplace. They're part of the, you know, embedded into the culture, into the area itself. You have a couple of Christians living out here. Yeah. Over 1,000 Sudanese, Eritreans, Africans, they immigrated to this part of the region. All the kibbutzim all around Sderot, you have the entire Latin American countries. If it's a kibbutz of Brazilian Jews, if it's a kibbutz from Argentina. And overall, getting across to people having a diversity of people's backgrounds, beliefs, behavior, living here peacefully together, being targeted only because they're considered living in the state of Israel, in the land of Israel. It's something so powerful to explain today what this town today is standing for.
And Noam, talk a bit more about the human impact, in particular on the children here in Sderot. We're obviously standing in a fortified kindergarten playground. I'd imagine that PTSD is pretty prevalent here among the children dealing with these rocket and missile barrages. Tell us a little bit more about how the kids here in Sderot have been affected.
Okay, well, there are some researchers saying that up to 94% of children in this town and surrounding areas have been suffering from symptoms of PTSD. I'll be honest, the experience of moving into this town, reflecting to children, My experience moving to this town was waking up every single morning with a collective alarm clock. We had sirens going off from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the morning, followed by a direct hit. Why first thing in the morning? Of course, this is the time how everybody's waking up, parents on the way to shop, to work, and the children on the way to the kindergartens and schools. That was my experience moving into this town. Every single morning, a siren going off.
Intentionally,
followed by an
obviously,
explosion, of
intentionally
course.
timed by the likes of Hamas. Good morning, Israel. Here's some rockets and missiles.
That's part of the strategic aspects.
Children are going to school.
Of course, that's the main favorite targets. We have live documentation on the first day of school, documenting children on the way to school, knowing that something's going to be happening. We film the children running for their lives into the school itself, having sirens going off, followed by direct hits into the city itself. It can be very quiet here for 1-2 weeks. The quieter it gets, the less you're thinking about the rocket fire. Therefore, more vulnerable from experience. Once you have that one siren go off, you go back to the first day you've experienced a rocket explode nearby. You still have 15 seconds to run for your life, and you're sure the rocket isn't anywhere towards you. I came to realize that children in schools, elementary schools, their first lesson in the school was a drawing lesson, for them to express themselves on drawings and showing what they've been going through as well. So I collected many of these drawings all around this region. It's showing the same pattern, of course, of a regular drawing of a child, of a house, a tree, and rockets. And every single drawing over here, you have the same kind of pattern of a rocket being fired. And that's, as we said, having a very unique experience. I mean, look how much expression actually have in this kind of drawing over here. Look how ironic this actually is. You have the sun here is sad, people here are smiling. Yeah. It shows, again, a very, a very unique kind of reality that is being expressed through the arts of media. And that's part of many of our projects at the Sderot Media Center, was actually providing tools for residents, for young adults to express themselves through, if it's acting out in a theater play, if it's providing tools in photography, in creative writing contests, any way it's possible to get your story out there and using the results as a human story to present around to the world.
And Noam, look, that's why it's so important that you're doing the work you're doing at the Sderot Media Center. And folks, that's why it's so important that we're bringing this information to you here on The Watchman. More coming up after the break with Noam Bedin of the Sderot Media Center. It's The Watchman, Christians United for Israel, only right here on TBN in Sderot, Israel, just a mile from the Gaza border. Stick around.